I started playing saxophone pretty traditionally and wasn't thinking about any crazy extended techniques. And then I decided to major in music. In classical, I started classical saxophone performance. And then I quickly fell in love with jazz, lots of the old great jazz artists, and then kind of did a double major, classical and jazz. By the time I got to grad school, I was just a jazz studies major. But I've always appreciated that classical upbringing as well. You know, especially like learning the fundamentals of tone and technique. But I remember kind of always having open ears and hearing interesting sounds, sometimes by sax players, sometimes not, and just being like, how do they get that sound? And like I remember hearing Jeff Coffin of Bela Fleck and the Flecktones, and he did something like this. And I remember being like, what was that? Was that a saxophone? What was that pop sound, you know? And I was like, and I had to figure out how to do it. And so, you know, I learned how to make that sound, and I was like, that kind of sounds like a drum to me. I wonder if I could use that kind of like in a beat. And so, and just slowly started, you know, listening for other sounds. And I remember hearing from the classical side, someone play something like this. And once again, I was like, what was that? I gotta learn how to do that. And to me, that sounded like a slap bass. And so I remember thinking, I have this kind of drum sound, this bass sound. I wonder if I could put those two together. And then it was just kind of like, wow, the sky's the limit. What else can I learn on this thing? And so some of these techniques were maybe from other sax players, and some were just looking at this thing and like, I wonder if I could hit this thing, you know, and using rings. Just so many different sounds, you know, and so it's kind of like I've become a kid again, and I'm just like looking at some basic blocks, and I don't know the rules, and so like, what happens if I put this here, and you know, and so it's just been this kind of crazy journey with lots of ups and sometimes downs. You know, it doesn't always work, but just this journey of like, yeah, what all can I get out of this instrument?